What's up, everybody? I'm Brandon. This is Lines on Paper, and today we are going to be reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man number 17, legacy number 818, Hunted Part 1 by Nick Spencer and Humberto Ramos. This is the crescendo of Spencer's run on Amazing Spider-Man thus far. He's had a story going on in the background where two mercenaries, the Taskmaster and the Ant, have been abducting animal-themed Spider-Man villains and even a couple of heroes, or at least one hero, and delivering them to someone for a reason we haven't known until now. This story features the return of Kraven the Hunter, and for those of you who know Amazing Spider-Man history, we know that Kraven the Hunter died a number of years ago. One of the more famous Spider-Man story arcs, Kraven's Last Hunt, saw Kraven take on Spider-Man, go a little bit crazy, and end up taking his own life in the end. And now he's back. He's been resurrected, and as we find him at the beginning of this book, nobody is more upset about Kraven being resurrected than Kraven himself. The story kicks off with Kraven alone in his mansion, kind of lamenting about the fact that he's alive, that he's been brought back to life when he was perfectly happy being dead. He was okay. He was happy with the death that he had. He liked the fact that he went out on top and went out on his own terms. He did not want to be brought back, but here he is, and now he wants nothing more than to be put down, and he believes that Spider-Man is the only guy out there that can finish him off once and for all and kill him for good. So he's orchestrated this elaborate scheme to, we don't know yet, push Spider-Man to the edge, try to get Spider-Man to finally finish Kraven off. We'll have to wait as the storyline goes on to find out. But in the meantime, Kraven prepares for a one-on-one fight with Spider-Man. He's lured him out by kidnapping Felicia Hardy, as well as Kurt Connors, a.k.a. the Lizard's son, and holding them captive. He knows Spider-Man's not going to come, nor is going to come out for loved ones and kids in danger, so perfect bait. And of course he's got Spider-Man where he wants him. That fight, you'll have to just pick up the book, see how it goes. As you can imagine, probably doesn't go great because this is only part one of the storyline. And Spider-Man finds himself kind of immersed in somewhat of a kind of safari of Kraven's own making, made up of Spider-Man's animal-themed villains in a big elaborate death trap in Central Park set up by Arcade of X-Men and Avengers fame. So this story I enjoyed. I thought it felt like Spider-Man's darker stories like Kraven's Last Hunt, or if you know Torment by Todd McFarlane, another kind of Kraven-themed story. Whenever Kraven shows up, things get kind of dark. Things get a little brutal. Kraven is a guy who fights with his fists, with knives, with spears. He doesn't pull punches. Spider-Man always comes out the other end of conflicts with him just beaten and bloodied, and this issue is no different. The fight with Kraven is brutal. Kraven has been returned to his physical peak, and he just dishes punishment out on Spider-Man. Great fight scene, beautifully illustrated by Humberto Ramos, who I think is a fantastic artist for Spider-Man. I know there's some people out there who don't like his style, especially for a book like Spider-Man. I think he fits great. I love the exaggerated characters. I love the motion in his work. I think Spider-Man is a perfect fit for his style. The only complaint that I have, and we talked about this last time I talked about a Spider-Man book, currently Spider-Man's on this 2-week rotation with a 3-artist crew that kind of comes in and out with each storyline. One guy will do about 3 issues and then hand off the book to the next guy, and that's consisting of Humberto Ramos, Ryan Otley, and Chris Bocciolo, 3 artists who I really enjoy. Their work is so fun. I would much rather just see each one of them on a monthly book, so every 30 days I get a book illustrated by them that I get to look at, rather than having to wait 3, 5, 9, however many weeks, months till their time on Amazing Spider-Man comes back and I get to be treated with their artwork again. Not a big fan of that, but I am a big fan of the run on Spider-Man right now. And if anything, I can say all the issues are really beautifully drawn. I love that they're committing good art to Spider-Man again. He was the first comic I collected. He's always been my favorite superhero. Kind of stuck with him through thick and thin, Clone Sagas and One More Days and everything else. So, you know, he'll be probably the last book that I stop collecting when the time finally comes. But for now, I'm enjoying Nick Spencer's run after Dan Slott's really long run on Spider-Man. It was good to see a new guy come in and just kind of inject some new life into him, take him in some different directions. And I'm curious to see where this storyline goes. I'll probably pick up and do a final review when the series ends. But in the meantime, I definitely recommend going out and picking up Hunted Part 1. You won't be disappointed, especially if you're a fan of old school Spider-Man stories. This is definitely a book for you. Grab it, pick it up, hit your local comic shop. I'm sure they'll have a copy for you. If you're interested, Kraven's Last Hunt and Torment should both be out in trade paperback. If you want to get a little bit of history between Spider-Man and kind of Kraven and the whole mythos, their whole relationship with each other, both of them are really, really solid reads. Great artwork, great stories. Can't recommend highly enough. So moving on this week to our pull list. This week was not much for me. Not a lot on the shelves really kind of piqued my interest. I did happen to pick up 100 pages of the Max, because who doesn't love crazy homeless purple people? So Max was one of my favorite books from the 90s. I saw this 100 pages for $4.99, had to pick it up, did not have a choice. Picked it up. These are from the Max remastered editions from IDW, which I had not seen yet. So it's books that I already read, but they've been retouched, recolored, some tweaks and new artwork in there by Sam Keith. Really, really enjoyed seeing all that. Can't really recommend this for somebody who has not read the Max, because it's 100 pages of Max, but it wasn't consecutive issues of the comic. It kind of jumps around. I think it's issues 1 and 22 and 10, and they weren't even in a particular order. I haven't finished reading it to see if they really have a relation to each other, if they're all featuring a character, or why those particular issues got selected to be put together. But if you're a fan of the Max, if you enjoyed the character, I would pick it up definitely for $5. Just 100 pages of Sam Keith's writing and artwork is mind-bending and great. So give that a chance. If you have not picked up the Max before, never heard of the character, he had an MTV series. If you can find it on Blu-ray, DVD, or online, it's definitely worth a watch. He had a comic book. It should all be collected in trade paperbacks. I guess by IDW now is who's putting Max out. He used to be Image back in the day. But if you can find the remastered edition or even the original trade paperbacks, Max is a fun read, really weird stuff, but fun nonetheless. Really give Max a chance. Go ahead, visit your local comic store, ask them if they've got any Max stuff. I'm sure they can hook you up, and have fun sitting down and giving yourself crazy nightmares from reading a crazy, crazy character. That's all from Lines on Paper this week. So again, this is Brandon. Let me know in the comments below if there are any books that maybe I missed this week, maybe I should have reviewed and didn't. Anything out there you guys are enjoying. Maybe you didn't agree with what I had to say about the 2 books that I did review. Let me know. And again, like, share, subscribe to the channel. If you're in a position to do so, want to support the channel, help us grow, visit our Patreon page. Other than that, have a great week. I will talk to you later. Bye.